How I got my real estate license in just 60 days. We need first to define what is a real estate license and why would you want one. So a real estate license is an authorization issued by the government for agents, brokers, and people who just want to have it, that authorizes you to represent a home buyer, a home seller in buying or selling their home or someone else's home, in case you have a power of attorney, but that's another subject. Now, why would you want one? The reason why people get a real estate license is if you want to get into the real estate world, if you want to be an investor, if you want to sell your house, or you want to sell houses, or you want to be able to help people buy their houses, and if you want to do anything related to real estate, it's always a good idea to have a real estate license, because that will allow you to do things in a more knowledgeable manner. You will have more knowledge, you will have an authorization by the government to do this type of transactions, and if you're an investor, it can save you a lot of money. In this video, I am going to tell you how I got my license in just 60 days. And why this is something that might serve you is because the faster you can get your real estate license, the faster you can do whatever it is that you wanted to do, either sell, buy a house, or invest, or help people sell or buy their houses. The first thing that you need to do is to find a course provider online. In how this works, you go over a certain amount of hours dictated by the different states. Depending on what state you are, it will depend how many hours of course study you will need to do. In my case, I'm in Tennessee, so here is 90 hours. So you have 60 hours of the national portion of the real estate knowledge, and then you have 30 hours of the state portion. Depending where you are, hours will vary and will be different. They have different type of courses, and the reason why you have to get a course is because the course that you're taking need to actually tell the government that you did study for the hours that is required. It's not that you can just go and study for 90 hours by yourself. No, you need to actually pay a service that will tell the government and confirm to the government that you actually did this. So you have two options. You can do it in person or you can do it online. I decided that I wanted to do it online, and I chose a course that was primarily audio. Why? Because that way I can squeeze it in when I was doing just very second nature activities. For example, like folding my laundry, driving somewhere, cleaning around the house, brushing my teeth, showering. In all of these times that I was able to put the audio, that saved me a lot of time of not having to stop whatever it was that I was doing. It allowed me to be more effective, and it also gave me an advantage because I was not restricted by a physical location and someone else dictating how fast I can learn something. So when you go in person, they are going to give you a class of, like, someone will be teaching you with a board and something, and you have specific schedules. Obviously, if you don't have the power of accountability, if you don't have the power of the discipline that it requires to study for 90 hours by yourself, then I highly recommend that you go for in-person course. Obviously, the activities that I was using to listen on the background to the course were activities that did not require intensive focus, because I also wanted to learn from the course and get all the basic concepts that the course was teaching me. I'm just gonna give you a briefing of my week so you have the similar idea if you have the same schedule. I work 40 hours a week, and I usually go to the gym for 2 hours. Waking up in the morning ritual, I usually spend an hour and a half between taking my cold shower, listening to whatever I want to listen in the morning to get me pumped up. And all of this probably I spend around 12 hours a day busy doing things that I have to do no matter what, like work, going to the gym, and my morning rituals. Now, the other hours were left for me to do other chores like around the house, and these were the hours that I was using most of the time to listen to the course, and also when I was showering and doing things part of my morning routine. As soon as I was done with the 90 hours, the next step is to call whatever place in your state is to schedule your real estate exam. This is the part where people get stuck a little bit. What I thought about was I needed to have a deadline. I needed to have a time set for me to study for the exam. I didn't want it to be something that, oh, I know I can schedule it whenever. They give you a time limit. I believe it's like 60 days for you to schedule it. I don't know how much it will be in your state. I gave myself a deadline. So I scheduled the exam for next week, giving myself only 7 days to study for the exam. And I am a firm believer that whenever you set a deadline for yourself, or you know you have to do something by a certain date, you will get more effective and more efficient. There will be less procrastination because now you have a deadline pushing you. How I prepared for the exam was I found online services that gives you mock exams that prepare you for the real estate exam. They give you flashcards, they give you all these things. They give you a lot of tests that are just mock tests that are similar to the way that the real estate exam is going to be. And this helped a lot because it kind of gets you used to the type of questioning that in the exam is going to happen. In the real estate exam, it's a multiple choice exam, but you don't have a right or wrong answer. You actually have all of them are right, but you need to choose which one is the most correct, or which one will be the best case scenario. But in fact, all of them are correct. So this service helped me get used to this feeling of the questioning and all of that. And there's a lot of things that whenever you get your course, no matter what course you take, most of them are not going to be perfect. So you need to keep that in mind. There's some things that are going to be left out that they are going to appear in the exam that you need to study for. That's why I decided to go with a service that I paid, and it actually helped a lot. I think part of why I passed the exam in the first try was because of that. The next requirement is for you to actually go and take the exam. You have two options. You can now take it online, I believe, or you can go in person to the place. Now this is different. I said that I rather online for the course because it allowed me to have time management on my hands. But in this case, I rather schedule the exam for a physical location. There's two reasons why. Whenever you're in your house, you kind of get used to the feeling of being in your house. Your performance is usually the same unless there's a drastic change, unless you have coffee or whatever. I decided that I wanted to go somewhere because going physically somewhere, I knew that I had to put in my all. Like I knew this is happening. And he allowed me to have a different scenario that it was out of my comfort zone to kind of push myself even harder to do the exam the best that I could. I went through the exams. They were very difficult. They're not easy. It's important that you study a lot. They're not easy. They were difficult, somewhat difficult, within the margins. And I passed them both. They give you a 4-hour limit, and I was done by an hour and a half. But honestly, I attribute that to all this studying that I did beforehand. Some advice that I can give you is if you do purchase this service for the exam where you get the mock test, what I did was I was getting every single test with a 90% score. If I didn't get one of the mock tests with a 90% score, I will repeat it until I got it right, until I got all the questions down. After I passed my exam, after all the excitement and the happiness you feel when you achieve a short-term goal, it was important for me to get back into work because that is not it for you to get your license. You need to do other requirements. The other requirements are you first need your state and your state exam. You need to pass the exam. You need the hours from the course. You also need an E&O insurance. That this is something that, depending on what brokerage you're going to work under, is a requirement that you have to pay up front. You need also a proof of high school diploma. You need to be 18 years old and older. You need to have your fingerprints taken by whatever organization that your states require. And you need to also upload all of these documents to the REC platform. The REC is the Real Estate Commission. And then you simply wait for your license to arrive or for it to be active and start on real estate. If this video helped you in any way get motivated or do it, or think that you can do it in less amount of time that you thought it will be, you can. Give me a like, subscribe if you felt like it was useful what I was saying, and I hope to see you in the next one.